So I think we both had this experience where you have a woman come in for an initial consult and they tell you these horrible stories. And then at the end, you're like, okay, so you should consider a civil protection order, AKA a restraining order. And they're like, but why? I think that's a bit much, isn't it? And you have to say no and talk this woman who has this horrible backstory into why she needs legal protections to keep this guy away from her. And I guess I just want to speak out to all my women right now. Like, no, you're not being dramatic. This is an important protection that's available to you if you have someone who is, you know, a domestic partner or anybody who's you are cohabitating with, who's harassing you, who is threatening you either physically or otherwise, and there's a pattern that has developed from these non-physical threats. And we can work with you and make sure that they don't come in contact with you.
Yeah, and what we're trying to show that when we do this is that there's been a pattern of conduct which makes you believe that you're in danger of an imminent physical harm, or there's been a threat of imminent physical harm, or that there's some kind of mental distress.
They have a record of physically committing acts of violence against you.
Right, and we go to the court and ask the court to give you some type of protection from this imminent physical harm that may occur if otherwise this protection isn't granted.
And I mean, the other thing that comes with this is a lot of women say like, okay, well, I do think that I'm being abused or I'm in danger or me and my kids are in danger, but what am I going to do when this guy is like taken out of my life and they can't financially support me anymore? Well, we have ways to make sure that you are in the house and that they continue to pay for your utilities. That's a big thing. We have had situations before where, you know, woman keeps the house, woman has the kids in the house, guy tries to turn off the utilities. That's a violation of the protection order. And they can go to court for that. And at the misdemeanor level, they're looking up to 6 months in jail or $1,000 fine. And eventually, if they do have a record, that could be catapulted into the felony world. So, I mean, there are very serious ramifications for violating these protection orders. And you do have protections in place that allow you to live your life, give you access to housing that they cannot cut you off from, give you access to vehicles.
Access to support too.
Access to actual monetary support.
Child support and spousal support can be put into these protection orders so that one, you get the protection you need, but also you get the support that you need on a monetary basis.
Right.
So it's just not you struggling to make ends meet in exchange for protecting yourself.
I think it's important to stress how seriously the courts do take it.
So seriously.
So I think like to go off of, that initial question you said is like, am I overreacting? Is this too much? Like, no, first of all, because I think when women get trapped in this, at least my impression is you sort of think it's normal.
Yes.
Is your fault somehow you deserve it, or this is just how life is. And
other people have it worse. Like, why am I complaining about this?
Right. And so being able to step out of that and see like, no, this is bad.
Right.
And it needs to be fixed is step one. But then step two, I think knowing that the court takes it very, very seriously is helpful. Like, people are going to listen to you. People are going to take it seriously and are going to act in a way that to actually give you the protection you need. So once you pull this trigger, if you're truly scared of this person, know that you're actually going to be protected. This isn't something that's like a half measure where you do it and now he's there and you're terrified. But I mean, the protections are, he's not allowed within 500 feet of you. If you see him in a grocery store, he has to leave the grocery store. If you see him at a sporting event for your kids, he has to leave the sporting event. I mean, it's that serious. And the relief you have is you pick up the phone and call 911, you have your order, and he goes to jail that very second. If he sends you a text message and you call 911, he goes to jail after you have this order in place.
Yes. So, I mean, and that's something else that we do too, after this case gets filed in whatever county it is that you're in, we can appear in court as your Marcy's Law attorney. We've done it before to advocate for you to the prosecutor's office and before the court during arraignment. Arraignment is essentially where the judge decides, is this guy going to stay in jail during the pendency of this case? Or is he going to get a bond? Is he going to get out for free? Or how much money is he going to have to pay to get out of jail? And that's something where, you know, a lot of times they want to hear from the victim, and we're happy to go to court on your behalf and talk for you and let the court know exactly what's on the line for you moving forward if this guy gets out of jail, and what your life is going to look like. So, you know, this is something that we're very passionate about. And I really, truly don't think that there is a such thing as being dramatic when it comes to your safety and your well-being and the well-being of your kids. And this doesn't just go for, you know, domestic partners. This also can be for, you know, we've had situations with roommates. We've had situations with the new girlfriend or the old girlfriend. I mean, there are lots of different relationships that you can be involved in where a protection order might be necessary. It's not just you and your soon-to-be former spouse or, you know, the father of your children.
And I think that some people hesitate because they think that, hey, I'm living with this guy. Like, how do I show that I'm scared of him? But you don't have to show that you're scared of him. You have to show that if their protection isn't granted, you're going to be harmed.
It's fear of, it's the imminent physical harm.
Right.
That is what we got to prove.
Right. So if he's threatening you, like if he's threatening to do something or if he has done something, then that's an issue and you need protection. You don't have to be scared of him.
And like Hari said before, I mean, the courts are very in tune with this type of situation. There's not going to be that type of victim blaming where they're asking, well, why didn't she leave earlier? You know, they're very much in touch with the fact that you're financially tied to this person or you're co-parenting with this person.
And I guess just to, like, logistically speaking, to show like how serious they take it, you know, when COVID hit, everything shut down. Like you couldn't get divorced for a year. But, and even when it restarted, you know, the divorce trials are by Zoom and, you know, it's still very, very serious and they still try, but, you know, they were delayed. The civil protection orders never stopped.
Right.
As of the day it hit, you're still going to court to do it. It's not like, not Zoom, it never stopped. They take it very, very seriously. You know, the statute says that when you file, they have to hear it the same day. And, you know, we have multiple counties, Delaware County is an example where they'll stay after, which they never do. And especially with COVID, with people working from home, like people, I mean, judges and magistrates working from home. I mean, you'll see a magistrate on a Zoom call at 6 because the court is closed. Statute says same day, but hey, same day now means the whole day.
Right.
And so they're very, very interested. The courts are in making sure you get this protection. And so it's nothing to feel ashamed of, nothing to be worried about. And it's a tough thing to talk about.